from Russia, that they go through the World War II areas in between the two countries, and they're finding all kinds of buried stuff in the bogs.
Oh yeah.
Old guns and whole cases of ammo and all kinds of stuff they pull out of the ground.
Oh, the like metal detector people?
Well, they're metal detector people, but mostly they're bog diggers.
Okay.
Because in the bog, some of this stuff is like, you'll see a guy, he's up to his chest in muddy, cold water and you can see the snow in the background, and he's digging around looking for something. He pulls up a whole case of never touched World War II ammo for some Russian gun, sets it down, reaches down, pulls up a helmet.
Wow. Put over here's butt stock for that ammo. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. In Germany, there's guys that they're going back into the mountains around the areas where there's not a lot of reports of activity, but at the end of the war, a lot of stuff just became unrecorded, lost activity, and you'd go digging almost anywhere you find something.
Oh yeah.
And there's bunkers and stuff they keep finding today. There's guys that they'll find their way into long lost like Cold War bunkers in Ukraine and stuff, and all those Central European countries.
Yep.
The key to everything with big system activity is logistics. There's different books available, like he was talking about. They're online for free.
10401.
Portable document.
Air Force Logistics.
Air Force Logistics 10401.
10401. 10401. And then I can't remember. You get out there and look for Joint Doctrine stuff out there. Joint Doctrine talks about logistics in the military in general.
There's a site you can go to where you can search government documents.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it too.
Yeah, where you can just search all government documents and you can find manuals. Like I found the laws of land warfare you can find.
Yeah.
There's also some key figures, especially in World War II, because the logistics went to a really high level. Yeah. They were even more complex logistics than World War I. Yeah. And there were a couple of people that got singled out as really outstanding leaders.
That's part of why I got the trucks, because of logistics.
And their understanding of how to solve the tremendous logistics of having two major theaters of war with thousands of various different disciplines that have to be done correctly, and to outmanage. Because logistics, if Germany, they were excellent machinists, they were excellent technologists, they were really, really orderly, they were very, very smart, they had shit logistics.
Yes, they did.
And there was a few other things they got wrong.
And what you see on TV, because it was all those black and white films, what you see was true, because that's all that armor and mechanization. That's what Hitler and them wanted you to see, propaganda, because they had the best propaganda machine ever.
Yep.
But the majority of the German army was horses still.
Oh yeah, a lot of it was. Yeah.
There was three different cultures at work in the German army. There was the old school pre-Hitler honorable warrior crowd.
Yep.
And one of the things that happened with them is if they found an honorable, say, pilot that had crashed, they would defend him.
Yep.
They'd watch out for him. They didn't like when they found trainloads of Jews. Sometimes they'd let them go. There was the dumbasses who got scooped up into the army, and then there was the SS.
Yep. Well, see, and the Luftwaffe did everything it could to keep the Nazis out of the Luftwaffe. Even though Goring, even though he was in charge of the Luftwaffe, the regular Luftwaffe, they did what they could to stay away. There's an awesome book called Higher Call, and it's about Hans Stiegler and Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown, he was flying B-17s, got all shot up and everything, and they were trying, they were way off the formation, they were done. And Hans Ziegler shows up and he comes in behind the plane, and he notices, wait a minute, I'm not getting shot at from back here. So he pulls along and he's looking at it, and he's like, that thing's in bad shape. And he's like, I'm gonna let him go. He pulls up and waves, and then it dawns on him, holy crap, he's gonna get shot at going back across the channel. So he stayed on his wing. Yeah, he stayed on his wing until they got across the channel. Because the anti-aircraft guys just thought it was you know, they had some of our bombers. They just thought it was one of those to try to infiltrate. And it's a great book, and he talks a lot about the German Air Force. And he was all about,
There was even some more amazing ones. There was one of our bombers that was really shot up, and it was unable to fully control itself. The German plane came in and made physical contact and aided them in their flight to get them out of the area.
Yeah.
There was another guy, he was a tail gunner, and he still had his parachute, I believe. The tail was shot off, and it was cut off right at a balance point.
Yeah.
The tail of the plane essentially glided down to the ground, and he survived. He broke almost all of his bones. It was kind of non-flight, but
he
rode the thing down.
He rode it down.
and he was captured, but he was in real bad shape. But they were nice enough to scoop him up and patch him up. But World War II was really, really rough.
There's one picture of a guy that I think his plane was shot down, and then he got into another plane and was completely ass naked and manned the tail guns. That's a pretty funny photo. It's just like completely ass naked, manning the tail guns.
There was such a high death rate in the bombers that the people who came out of it were a very rarefied fraction of the American example.
The U.S. Air Force lost 4 men in World War II. Just in the campaign over Europe, the Marine Corps lost jumping across the Pacific.
And that's pretty incredible when you look at, I forget what was Basilone, the machine gunner. You look at what his reports were.
I've got his book too.
Where he talks about the absolute swarms of Japanese. That even when they had lost and they were down to their underwear, they would have a grenade in their crotch. And they, even though they knew they were going to die, it was that whole samurai mentality. And that's really hard to fight.
Yep.
And it was really impactful on people to find out that's how people could be.
I mean, the whole campaign in the Pacific, we had to bounce from island to island. Like,
tactically, that's tough.
They were fighting to the absolute death, like to the last man standing. They wouldn't give a single.
Did you hear about the guy that was found, like, what was it, 40 or 50 years later?
Oh yeah,
kept fighting, right?
Yeah.
He was loyal to the Japanese war cause. Didn't even know the war had ended.
Well, yeah, he thought everything that was told was propaganda, at least.
Philippines, the one in the Philippines, they had to bring his commanding officer.
Yeah, they brought his commanding officer, and he gave him his sword. Yeah.
Now Yoshi in Guam, he came out in 75 or 79, somewhere in there. Yoshi, I can't remember his last
Was
name.
it like Onada? That's the one who surrendered.
He was
like,
in Guam.
No, I'm thinking of the guy that was the last guy.
Oh,
He's in the Philippines.
Yeah, he was in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And that's the one where his commanding officer had
Yeah, he wrote a memoir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
Yoshi,
think higher, like honor, something honor.
or something, yeah.
High honor.
Yoshi was the Guam guy, and he just finally was like, okay, I've been observing enough. They're done.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I'm tired of eating rats and stuff.
Yeah, the guy in the Philippines like killed livestock.
Yeah, and then he got exonerated for his crimes afterwards because they were like, we thought the war was still going on. I mean, what are we gonna do? I mean,
Yeah. That's like after the war, some of the veterans